Yeah. Or I should say, woof. This is the DLLS Stars post-game show. One team is going to feel really good after that one, and one team already feels much shame. We'll get into all of that and much more, but first here on the DLS Stars post-game show, let me remind you that we have a rather big Friday coming up. That's right, our DLLS Stars trade deadline show. Friday, scheduled for 1:30 p.m. Central Time. Why do I say scheduled? Well, because we can't tell Jim Nill when to make his trade or trades if they do indeed make any moves. Will it happen earlier that day? They have a morning skate, so let's hope that they cooperate. Will it be days before that, as it's Monday? This is Friday. Either way, we will be here on Friday for a big trade deadline day show and a pre and post game show of Stars and Avalanche. It will be a massive day. We need an extra 4 days off. We're not going to get them, so we're still going to show up. But there we go. Craig Ludwig, Sam Nessler, producer Ryan Vaughters. I'm Owen Newkirk. Thanks for joining us here on this one. If you didn't enjoy it, well, it wasn't very much of a competitive game of the final 40 minutes, but as a Stars fan, you got a really good glimpse of what a good team looks like that was following the formula and what a really bad team was that doesn't seem to have much of a formula. Luds, Sam, let's get your initial takeaways of this one. Luds, we'll start with you.
They suck.
I knew it was coming. I knew it.
I went to check. Those guys are confirming that April 16th in Edmonton is their last abusing game for the season. So, and unfortunately, it's against Edmonton, who may be just gearing up for that first game of the playoffs. But listen, I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, there's a lot of players that appear to have checked out already, and you would think that there's a handful of them that would be playing for jobs next year. So they want to be able to show them that they can give you whatever they have through kinds of games like this. The happiest guy on that roster is probably Tyler Myers.
I was just going to say it.
Why would he? I mean, why would he even take warm-up? Apparently he's going through warm-ups. That's a dangerous team to even warm up with.
Doesn't it feel like he's been placed in a special quarantine zone so that the virus that is surrounding this team doesn't infect him before they try to move him at the deadline?
I mean, it's so bad. And I should be the last one laughing because I said I've been in a couple of those situations. It's you just can't get to April 16th for them quick enough.
Sam, it was maybe a little, I don't even want to say concerning, the first. I can't stop laughing. Lud saying they suck just got me. They do. It really was one-sided. I do feel awful for Canuck fans because they are going through it right now. But if you're looking to try to give yourself the best lottery odds to get Gavin McKenna, this is certainly the way to do it because they don't look like they're anywhere near a competitive hockey club. And yet, Dallas seemingly celebrating a franchise-breaking winning streak. I mean, this one felt almost inevitable after that second period. Oh, Sam's on mute.
Microphone was muted. The Stars, that's good. 4 minutes and 30
Just
seconds
like
before
the
I
Canucks,
said anything.
Sam, you didn't have the mic on tonight.
No, but I was going to give them some credit early on because the Canucks were making mistakes, but at least they were hockey mistakes, right? The Stars were forcing them with the pressure. The forecheck was getting on them. The first couple of goals were earned that way. And then, as Lud said, it just fell apart. And it's not just that they were not connected or not on the right page or, unable to make plays. They just looked uninterested. And coming out of their own end, it was just, if this puck stays perfectly on my stick, I'll break it out. If it goes anywhere else, I don't care if it's going to go to another team because I'm not going to give a second effort for it. And the good side of it is Dallas looked Dallas jumped on every single puck. They were way faster, even before the real meltdown from Vancouver. So they found that kind of harder game. It just so happened that they pushed, as you said. I think you said they stuck to their plan, right? They played how they wanted to play. They would have had a good shot of beating anybody tonight. It just so happened the other team was giving them every single possibility to make sure it wasn't anywhere close.
Who was the young player about 2-3 seasons ago? I think he had been drafted by Philly and did not want to go there. Wasn't there something somebody wouldn't go?
Oh, you're thinking of Cutter Gauthier that's with Anaheim now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about Gavin McKenna, like, getting to Vancouver. I mean, I don't know, man. He may want to stay in school and for another 3.
He's going to play 2 years in Penn State.
Can you stay there for 3 years and then you become undrafted or something like that?
His NIL money was not far off the NHL league minimum. So maybe, I mean, the rookie deal would be higher than that for the number 1 overall pick. But, oh, dear. What do you have to do to trade off the Canucks, right? Well, I said this in the pregame show, though, and this is getting off the topic of the game, but Florida's going to miss the playoffs. It looks like Toronto's going to miss the playoffs. What if
Vancouver's going to miss the playoffs too?
Vancouver, their luck, the way things are going, they'll lose the lottery and won't get the number 1 overall pick.
They won't even watch the playoffs.
Oh, poor Vancouver.
Yeah.
And they were a good team a couple years ago. They won their division.
What's the name of the show again? What's the name of our show again?
This is the DLLS Stars postgame show.
Yeah, that's a Dallas show. Okay.
That's right. And we were just ready to rail on the Canucks. It almost seems like, Sam, a little bit cruel to say too many things about how bad the Canucks are, because they know and their fans know very well, and they still have 21 more hockey games. Oh, no, sorry, excuse me, 22. This was game number 60 tonight. They've still got a month and a half, as Luds pointed out, April 16th. It's not going to get here as fast as they want it to.
Yeah, I think they play a ton of games. I mean, everyone plays a ton of games, but I think their schedule is specifically condensed, and I think it's March going into April. It's going to be tough for them, and I think the reason we're acting this way is because it's not like this is a team like Chicago. Okay, wow, that team's bad. They've been bad forever. Vancouver, as you said, was a real contender. I think they lost in Game 7 to Edmonton 2 years ago.
They did
in that playoff run. Casey DeSmith talked about it the other day about how that team in Edmonton was much different back then, but it's just funny to see, not funny, it's the wrong word, but it's just weird to see a franchise go so quickly the other direction. And as you mentioned, we might be seeing it in other places too, like Toronto and Florida, where all of a sudden, their run in Florida came to an end. Toronto looks like they've run into a wall. It's just tough for some teams to stay steady right now with the parity in the league.
Hey, Lutz, one more thing on the Canucks, and then I promise I'll ask Sam a Stars question. But they had a huge public drama, a soap opera, which we know how much you enjoy that, last year between JT Miller and Elias Pettersson. They decided to stick with Pettersson and traded Miller to the Rangers, which from all the reports, it sounded like that was the consensus of the locker room for Vancouver, was Miller had to go. But it seems like everything since that whole saga began has just been a snowball of getting down to the, let's face it, rock bottom.
EP40 there did a interview this morning. I believe it was today. I think it was today after their morning skate.
Yep.
And it was about 4 minutes. And it was one of the hardest, not one of the hardest. It was a hard listen. I mean, every question that was asked to him, it was a 2-word disinterested answer.
Yeah.
It reeks of, whatever, I don't care, it is what it is kind of thing. And then the reporters aren't great because they're asking about the contract that he signed and are you living up to the contract?
Oh.
They don't hold back.
Spin and twist,
Well, and he got benched during the game against Seattle on Saturday night, and that was a big deal.
To the game, and did they make the right decision or not? Who knows? But JT Miller's not having a fun time. Except
I was just going to say the same thing. I don't know which one's worse.
Yeah, but there's a gold medal hanging on his mirror somewhere. But
it's true.
But
both franchises of that trade have gone completely toxic.
Yeah, and he's the captain of the team too, so that makes it. I don't know. They played tonight. I don't know how they did, but regardless of that,
they lost.
I don't know if there's if there's a clear winner or just they're both, they both are hitting bad spots. But that being said, I mean, Pettersson hasn't done anything. I mean, for $12 million, he has done zero.
Yep.
So they're in a tough spot in management and ownership wise there in Vancouver.
All right, Sam, I promised I would ask a Stars related question. We don't want to just rag on the
No.
Canucks. Although it is fun, it does feel a little cruel to spend too much time ganging up on it. So let's talk about the franchise record. Stars have won their 9th game in a row. They have a shot at 10. They've never had a 9-game winning streak before, let alone a double-digit one. And if you had said you have an 8-game winning streak, which 2 teams should you play on a road trip? I mean, Vancouver and Calgary might be near that top of that list. They took care of game 1 tonight. They'll have another one tomorrow. And frankly, aside from the winning streak itself, which Glenn Gulletson said the other day doesn't feel like one because of the long break, I mean, goodness gracious, they just steamrolled this team.
Yeah, and they've looked this good since the break. They really, I think I said it, they're playing, I think I tweeted out, they're playing playoff hockey. It looks like their goal is to play playoff hockey. And Goldson said the other day, what did he say? Something about they had 28 games or so remaining. They wanted to play that like it's 4 7-game series. Yeah. 4 7-game series. I just think it's a good step because as Neil Graham said on our show, that now is not the time to, they're battling for spots, right? Colorado's there, Minnesota's there. That's all important, but it's about how you're playing. And Luds always talks about going into the playoffs, playing the right way. They got last year fresh on their mind where they played horrendous hockey, still found a way to overcome it to make a run. Right now, they're just playing a different level of hockey. And as you mentioned, they run into a couple teams that really help them extend this winning streak. But I personally am blown away that this is the year they broke this streak and could shatter this streak just because it's been such inconsistent hockey where early on we were like, hey, they're finding a way to win, but really not playing well. Hey, they're playing horrible and not finding a way to win. Now all of a sudden they've just kind of put it together and it was a little ugly before the break. These are maybe their 3 best stretch of games that I've seen them play consistent hockey for 60 minutes.
Luds, if you had to pick a game, though, to be the first half of a back-to-back with travel and losing an hour because of the time zone change between the 2 games, a walkover really allows Glenn Gulletson to maximize his team's energy for tomorrow.
Yeah, and I don't know if any of me need to take a shower tonight. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how hard they had to work for that win.
Maybe Bichsel.
Yeah. Well, he might have peed his pants on that second goal. He was so damn excited. Every time my dog gets excited, he pees on the carpet. So I'm guessing maybe Bichsel's the same way.
Ask Sam about dogs peeing on the carpet.
Yeah, I do it sometimes.
Apparently, he gets his days off. So, geez, I to squeeze some out of my dog once in a while.
Yes.
Oh, it's not peeing, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
No, you know what? I think anytime you can have one of these kind of, it's just another feel-good game for them, and everybody kind of gets in on the offense and, guys are tap dancing around. But again, it'll get, this is, we talk about the bad games. You just kind of want to throw them in the garbage and just let's not go there and let's just move on. This might be one, too, that you just kind of say, hey, everybody else is doing this to this team, too. And it's going to get tougher, tomorrow night. Then it's going to get tougher in a couple days when you play Colorado. So, let's just enjoy this thing, and tomorrow morning you wake up and you get ready to start all over again because the score isn't 5 or 6 to 1 when you start the game tomorrow. They got to start all over from scratch.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Lutz, because Calgary is bad, but they have a 12-point lead over Vancouver with a game in hand and they're 28th in the league. There's 4 teams that are worse than the Calgary Flames. In fact, Winnipeg is only 1 point better in the standings than Calgary. So, it's not exactly a fair fight. It is definitely not going to be this. This was a team, Sam, that was checked out after as soon as Bichsel scored to make it 2-1, it felt like it was over.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see a team. There's no worse off team right now. We said it early on. It should be a domination. It was. I just don't think you're playing a lesser opponent again tomorrow. Who knows if they get help with Rope Hands coming back, but you should not see them just completely folding in the middle of the game. And maybe, as Lud said, you'll see them have a player come out there, have a really good game, and then just jump right on the plane on the way home.
Luds, I can't help it. I'm giggling over here because ever since Sam said that he sometimes pees on the carpet too, I couldn't help but wonder if he has to go into the crate if he does that.
Well, he'd fit.
I did go in that crate once.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
he has to go in there to clean it.
We should get one for the studio and put Sam in there every now and then, just for a little bit to mix it up.
That's fair.
I like that. We're a little giddy. It's Stars After Dark. Sam hasn't yawned yet, which is a really good thing because he did during the pregame show. I might just laugh my way through this one, but we do have a breakdown. We've got lots of goals to talk about, and at least twice, I think I heard a giant Swiss defenseman go, woo, here on the DLLS Stars postgame show. You hear in the news that beef prices are skyrocketing. At least I have. I'm sure you have too. It's been a top story daily for weeks. Well, with Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market, they have over 700 items, including 500 at under $10 per pound. They have over 250 cuts of beef, poultry, seafood, pork, and even exotic stuff like ostrich, rabbit, and alligator, if that's your bag. I was amazed at the selection. Knowledgeable, friendly butchers. That's a big one. They are very friendly and very helpful. And of course, they have everyday low prices. Plus, I can truly buy my entire meal at Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market because they even have incredible side dishes like mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, even spices and some sauces. They blast freeze everything, which maintains freshness. It's true. And of course, they are available at 9 area DFW locations, including the one in Prosper closest to me. There's one in Frisco and 7 others. I won't waste the time now. Frozen and fresher at Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market. Check them out today at wildforkfoods.com. Now, would you say that maybe free food and drinks at Community Beer Company sounds like a good idea? I would say so, because Air DNA is putting on a World Cup roadshow where you can find out how much money you can make renting your home on Airbnb for the World Cup. Plus, they'll have experts to help you understand how to actually get it done. They are a big player. In fact, the big player in short-term rental data game. And they wanted to invite all the DLS homeowners to come on and go to Community Beer Company tomorrow night to have a good time. It's totally free. March 3rd, that's tomorrow at 6 p.m. You can RSVP at airdna.co/Dallas Roadshow. You can also find a link in there to their World Cup calculator where you can type in your address and see how much they estimate you can make in seconds. Check it all out. Be sure to RSVP for the Air DNA World Cup Roadshow tomorrow night at airdna.co/Dallas Roadshow. The link is in the description. All right, let's get real serious here. It's late. I think we owe all of our viewers and our listeners to listen to this later to take this as seriously as possible. I don't know why I'm so loopy. Maybe it's see, Sam just started yawning. You're just trying to get me to do it
just
now.
Kidding.
I know exactly what he's doing. He's trying to sabotage things already. All right. Well, fellas, I thought the Stars carried the play from the beginning, but they just didn't score the first goal. Sam Steele had a really nice rebound at the top of the crease after Matt Duchene hit him with a shot, but Tolopilo played okay for a little while. I know he gave up 6 and he got hung out to dry, but he was a gamer out there for a while. And then Evander Kane opens the scoring just under the 8-minute mark with a skate-in goal. Clearly, to me, by the rules, it's legal. But that was the only one that Jake Ottinger let past him tonight.
Yeah, I mean, all Kane did is try to put the brakes on, I think, and then ultimately went up. But, I looked at this. This is not good coverage, folks. Okay. Anytime you have, I'm not going to count Nils on this one, but when you have the other 3 players, first off, all of their sticks are in the air. I mean, you can't pause it any better than this if you want to show and get on your player. Anyway, everybody's chasing back to their own net. And then Nils, it was questionable for Nils here for me when he decided to go down, because this is all Jake. I mean, you've got a shooter that's left-handed and he's out by the dot, and so that's the best spot to have him. Jake's got him, and when Nils goes down, he just he takes himself out of the play, so to speak. And so if there is a rebound, which there was, the other thing is when you go toes down, it's never a good thing. But regardless of that, if he maybe swung his feet towards the shooter, that's one thing, but he goes down, you really weren't even going to get hit by this puck. And then, fortunate for Kane that he's right there and he just kind of puts the brakes on, and he can't get it on his tape, but that's where, he just kind of stops. So this one here kind of makes it look like he kicked it in with his right tape. but he was just trying not to, have a collision with the post. So yeah, there would be no question on this one though, because there was no kicking moment.
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask you, Luds, how would you have played that, including what you mean by toes
He
down?
played
Because
it,
I think people will
and
find
he
that
played
interesting.
it perfectly. He was in a good spot. He should have stayed on his feet in that one. And then he just kind of, as he does, he turns not towards the guy without the puck being Kane. You turn towards the shooter, and then you're in a position to find that rebound when it comes off of Jake's stick, or a pad. So he would have a better opportunity to play this. But by going down in an area where you just look at the angle that it is, and the chances of you getting this puck, I mean, like I said, if you want to go down and throw your feet to the left, you may, but you have to turn sideways first off so you can make yourself a little bit bigger. But just here, he kind of takes himself out of any opportunity to help out on the rebound. And the other, like even right here, there's nothing he can do. Not close enough to swing his stick at it. Sometimes when a desperation move, you'll just take your stick and you'll swing it over in that direction. Like, I mean, he didn't need, a telephone pole in order to be able to reach the other side of the net here. So anyway, again, to me, it's just, it happens in a game that's 6-1, no big deal. And I'm sure Elaine will go over that with them. And hey, this is what probably you can do better next time.
And Luds, I've said this on the show before, but I think it bears repeating. It was 7 years ago now, but during Jim Montgomery's first season in charge of Dallas, I will never forget this. I think we were at the rink in McKinney doing one of the Star Center practices early on, and he barked at Miro Heiskanen, who had gone down to try to block a saucer pass from the low right circle across the low slot above the crease. And Monty said, stay on your feet, Miro. Everybody in the NHL can sauce the puck.
Yeah, well, Monty's a forward, so you're an Eddie, Monty. And Miro, the bad news is Miro's never gone down since.
Yeah, he's learned.
No, I don't agree with that, because you can make yourself bigger. There are times that you go down and you take up space, and a lot of times it's not even sometimes even about blocking it or it's about buying time. You go down, and the good players, they kind of keep the puck on their stick, and then they may keep it and go another foot below where they want to be, and by then you've got back checkers that are getting back to help, not necessarily the puck carrier, but with people away from the puck. So
and I wonder too if I can even picture it. And Miro did go down on his stomach, so maybe that's part of it too. Is if you're going to do that, make yourself as flat as you can. You're not helping. Putting your toes down where there's that little gap between your toes and the ice, because you can't lay them flat that way because of the boot.
And you think about it, when you do go down on your side, you're twice as high.
Exactly.
Yep. Like that. So yeah, it doesn't happen. It really doesn't happen a ton as much as it used to. So maybe Monty's been going to hockey schools with all these guys and telling them to stand up. I don't know.
I'm not trying to take the next one away from Luds, but Sam, from a goalie's perspective, Adam Erne ties the game on he scores, so to speak, on a play that actually was blocked and then ricocheted off the end boards, hit Tolopilo's skate and goes in, a really goofy bounce. But what did you think of the goaltender's angle and play on that goal?
I think he was Razor. I think used the word nonchalant. This is a freak play. Of course it is, right? No one's expecting this bounce to come off the end boards, and it's coming off, as you can see, it comes off the stick. So it's already spinning in a funky way. So when it comes off, it's almost bouncing back towards the back of Tolopilo. But he just kind of played the puck behind the net a few times like this, where he just kind of slow plays it. And I watched this back a few times. He has time here. Like I mentioned, it's a weird bounce. It's a tough play, but he had a little more time than it looked. It's not like it just bounced right off and nailed him. That's a great picture right there to show like he's clearly taking his time there. He doesn't get back to his post. The other move here is for a lot of goalies is to lift your legs up and just let it go through you. Just take your chances with it going in front of you. Don't let it hit off the back of you. I just didn't like the way he kind of slow played it. And maybe he knew better than we did at this point. He already knew his team was going to collapse in front of him. And he just said, screw it. I'm just not going full here. I'm not getting hurt.
Well, look, Casey DeSmith has had a couple of those where it's been weird angles, or he's been trying to get out of the way on a shot from the corner, almost parallel, and it hits him and goes in. And sometimes there's really no way to avoid that. That one, do you remember when it was a while ago now, but when Anton Hudobin was playing for the Stars and there was a puck that went off the end boards and hit him in the back and went in. And I remember, I think Sean was still in town at the time, and they were talking, Anton and Sean were about just kind of throwing your shoulder blades back against the post to try to cover that. And, maybe it's just playing in the league longer and learning that, I know it's a fluke thing and weird and whatever, but there are some things that NHL goalies think about. I mean, Luds, you talk about some of the minute details of defending in a way that most people would never even consider. And you've played the different scenarios 1,000 times in your head. From a goalie perspective, you have to kind of be prepared for the weird stuff.
Yeah, especially in today's game with what how players can, number one, shoot the puck, and how nifty and crafty that they are. They're so good at looking and threatening like they're going to shoot, and then they find that little gap between your feet or your stick and your feet, and so it's a hell of a lot more difficult today with all the skill that there is.
All right, let's go to the second period. So the shots on goal in the first were 7-6 Vancouver. And Dallas had a slight edge in scoring chances by my count, 7-5. And actually, Vancouver had 2 high dangers. Dallas only had 1. Hey, 1-1 game, Canucks, you're in it. It was 31-7 shots on goal the rest of the way. Absolute one-sided craziness. They got out-chanced in the game 37-10. It was, again, 7-5 after the first period. So in the final 40 minutes, Vancouver had 5 scoring chances. And again, 30 for the Stars. Let's go to the Bichsel goal. His first. He scores. I thought this passing sequence from Steel and Lyubushkin was beautiful. Nice finish, but the setup was really pretty.
Yeah, 5 passes. 5 tape-to-tape passes. But there were 5 black and yellow pylons out there that weren't really doing a lot. They do these drills all the time in practice with cones, and so it was pretty easy for them. But I like it how it was worked from up high near the blue line. A lot of movement, and what's really cool about it is it starts with Bichsel, and he's giving it to Lyubushkin first, and then by the time it moves around 4 other times, it ends up being Lyubushkin giving it back to Bichsel, who's now in the slot, and it's a great shot. I mean, Bichsel had 2 great shots tonight, but this was a passing play that was allowed by the Vancouver Canucks because how spread out they were. Ultimately, is what it was.
Sam, did you hear the woo that I was talking about earlier? Was that Bichsel or was that Lyubushkin? Who was more excited, do you think, on that goal?
I think it was Bichsel, but honestly, it's a great group of that did it, right? It's not the Rantanen to Johnston to Robertson. It's Bichsel to Steel to Lyubushkin back to Bichsel. That's a great sequence of plays. And I gotta say with Bichsel, he has that skill. We've said it on our show a ton of times where once in a while he has the hands. He kind of reminds me of Alexiak in the way of when they get the opportunity, they can put it in a corner, and he put it in a great spot there. He gets it off. He leans on it pretty well in the slot there. And then, as we'll talk about later, he does it again when he has space to do it. I think that right there could be what the difference between him as a bottom pairing and a top 4 guy. If he's able to bring a little bit more offense, it just elevates his game to that next level and really makes him a valuable player all over the ice.
I'm so glad. Let's try that again. I'm so glad you brought that up. See, it was better the second time.
Yep.
Because Luds, that's what we were missing from Bichsel in the first, month and a half before he got injured this season from last year. When he came up last year, he got called up and he looked dynamic. He had a couple of points. He looked like he was going to cause trouble at both ends of the ice in a positive way. And then we talked about this sophomore slump. He didn't look the same guy. He looked like he didn't have the confidence. This is what we were missing early in the season.
Yeah, the confidence is the key word for him, and I think he's got to feel comfortable with that. And I think the big thing is for him is that the when and where, and the timing of it, the score of the game and things like that, when to get involved. And but again, I think that the more that he gets involved like that, he's just another threat. As Sam said, it's nice to be able to have, what you think of as a bottom pairing guy that can hit the way he does. For me, when he has all that, and then once he gets the defensive zone coverage and everything in place where he's using that reach and he's in the right place all the time, he seals guys out, man, you got a complete defenseman coming down the pipe.
Who does he remind you of, Lutz? What like established NHLer or Hall of Famer or something? Like if you were to really put a high arc on him, What kind of player
it's hard. It's hard for me because with his size and how he can hit and finish. I mean, there's a guy like Chara that had that kind of size and the long reach and everything. I think Bichsel seems to skate better than Chara.
Yeah.
Although with big guys, it's hard to tell if they're skating good because they're just like 18-wheelers moving up and down the ice, you know. But I don't know if Chara's a fair. I don't know if there's a fair description yet since he's only played, you know, a year and a half or so in the league.
Yeah.
He might be a combination of a few guys once you get going a little bit. I could say Darian, but I think he skates better than Hatch does.
That was going to be my guess.
Yeah, he gets up and down the ice better than Hatchie did. You know, he's just a better skater than Hatch was. And that in that day, again, we didn't, you know, you didn't need to skate that fast.
Well, guys, it's 2-1. We'll have 4 more to talk about in the next segment here on DLLS.
Hey, I'd love to start with that hoodie, that Finnish Mafia hoodie. We've done that. And you know why I want to start with this? Because we don't miss any of you guys right now. None of you. We don't need you right now. We're doing good. Just stay wherever you are and
just
rest.
Get healthy.
Yeah, get healthy. Come back when you're healthy, and just make sure you're back for the Avs game. But that is that still the top selling shirt? Or hoodie, whatever we're calling this thing.
Oh yeah,
it's gotta be, right?
For us, no doubt.
Yeah. I mean, it's blowing everything else away, isn't it? Right.
Go ahead, Sam.
Because it's nice, and you know what?
That was a question. I thought somebody could answer it.
I thought. Well, I don't know the answer. We just it's 12:15. We're not looking up sales numbers for you here. Let me tell you about the hoodie, though. I like doesn't have the strings. I thought I wasn't gonna like that because I like the strings, but it's nice, especially because dogs love to chew on the strings. But you can also join the supporters club right now, because if you want to hear Sam or Luds rambling on like we're doing right now, those are the kind of videos that we release for our supporters club members only as the behind the scenes stuff we do. I think it's like once a month, all kinds of funny stuff on there. Plus you get the exclusive emojis and badgies right there. We have plenty more emojis than there are right there, including some star specific ones that we love. So join the supporters club right meow.
All right, Sam, Luds, thank you very much. The Canucks didn't need to help the Stars tonight, but they did, because after a 2-1 Bichsel goal, they threw a puck into the crowd and gave the Stars a power play, their first of the game, and it took 53 seconds for them to score. Now, that's coincidentally because their number one power play goal scorer wears number 53, but it wasn't Wyatt Johnston who cashed in this one. It was Jason Robertson, and this was a snipe from him. I don't even remember the last time I saw him take a one-timer on the power play.
And it was up high too. You know, it was higher in the zone. What was nice about it was the entry. I mean, on the entry between Duchene and Robo was those two little tic-tac-toe. They get in there nice and easy. And Duchene, with what he does, is he just put a beautiful pass on Robo's stick, and where he shoots it from was usually, like I said, it was a lot higher than what we normally see Robo take that shot from. But that being said, another goal, another power play goal for these guys. And here's that little pass that gets set up, and that's where that one-timer comes from right here. Normally, I don't see Robo shooting from up here, but I don't know. I don't know if this was a good goal or Topio or Torpedo, whatever the hell his name is, or didn't see it. But, I'm just wondering if Robo blew it by him or he was screened by the defenseman in front.
Yeah, it looks like that's EP25, the other Elias Pettersson.
Yeah, I don't think he saw this, but I do love, if you look at that first glance of him when he's shooting it, he doesn't have the full clapper. He almost has the Mikko one-timer where Mikko kind of fades to his back hip and just goes halfway up. He's only about up to his waist with that one-timer. Kind of gets that little bit of a, I don't know, it almost reminds me of street hockey where you're trying to get underneath the ball just to kind of elevate it. It's an interesting little one-timer that I haven't seen from him a lot. I know it's not a high one-timer, but I kind of love the little bit of difference from Robertson that he has.
So, Luds, we have suggestions from the chat. Ardell said you could call the Vancouver goalie Uncle Tupelo. Cujo said Torpedo LMAO. Miss B said, how about tapioca pudding? And then I think this might be the one you like. Sidrev says, how about Topo Chico? I love you. The chat on Stars After Dark really has some fun with that. So they get that one. Hoaglander hit the crossbar. He had the only two scoring chances of the second period. The Stars scoring chances in the middle period, 13-2. They completely dominated everything. Remember, I said the shots on goal were 7-6 Vancouver in the first. After 2, it was 22-10 Dallas. They had the puck the entire time in that second period. It was just a one-sided game. And as Lud said, it's so nice of the Canucks to dress as pylons because they played the role very well. Go to the third period.
Hey, Lud, can I ask real quick, Lud?
Sure. Come back and haunt.
Lud, did you see Bastian on that Höglander crossbar by any chance? Do you remember that play?
Is that the one where Bastian fell down in there somewhere?
He dove.
Oh, I thought he fell down.
No, I mean, I watched the replay a few times. It looked like he dove and he had the blade up and it tipped the top of his blade. That very well could have gone.
You think he saved a goal?
I mean, it hits the crossbar. If that doesn't tip, it very well could go right over the shoulder of Jake Ottinger.
Yeah, or very well it could go in and Jake would be all pissed off.
Yeah,
he'd give him a glare.
Right. Just a good effort play. That's all I'm bringing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Speaking of sexy, I don't know if I've said Sam Steele made a sexy play this year, or at least in a while. But the first goal of the third period, first scoring chance of the third frame, was hot Sam level. I mean, what a setup, and Matt Duchene wasn't going to miss that one.
It was a beautiful pass, and I don't, to be honest with you, I didn't think, I went back and watched it a couple different times. I really didn't think he knew where Duchene was, and he knew the whole time because he gave him a perfect pass. And I mean, that, talk about an open 4x6 for Duchene.
Hey, lads, cone down. We've got to
talk about
down.
Defending.
We got to pylon down.
Oh my God. That's a tough one.
What a setup, and look at that finish. Matt Duchene now has points in 8 of his last 9. Held off the score sheet on Saturday against the Preds. Coincidentally, his former team. I'm sure he would have loved to have some points there. But again, he has 12 points, and I think he picked up an assist later. So I think he has 13 now in his last 9 games. Not bad.
Thank you, Sean.
Remember when Matt was whining so much that he could what he could do with 53 and 96 up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not squeaking around too much now, is he?
He's doing all right for himself.
He's working. You know what's funny? Funny, Luds? I've actually seen this play probably goes a long way for these two, because I've actually seen Duchene getting a little bit of that Sam Steele frustration that Rantanen had earlier in the year, because there's been a few plays. He had one later in this period where he sauced it over and Steele just wasn't able to get on it. I've seen a little bit, even in practice. You know how Duchene's like the most competitive guy I've ever spoken to. So at practice, if they don't score on a play he thinks they should, he's going to show it. And he's got a little bit of frustration there. So seeing Sam Steele highlight reel spinorama, I know Duchene was mouth open pointing in excitement. So maybe that helps a little bit to build the
what Matt has to understand, he's not a shooter, he's a playmaker.
Yes.
That's right.
There you go.
He's a playmaker.
There you go.
Speaking of a playmaker, right, he is definitely cooked, Sean. Colin Blackwell doesn't score very often, but he does in Vancouver against the Canucks. His last goal was against Vancouver on November 20th, and he went 27 games without a goal, the longest goal drought of the team active at the moment, and he ends it with a really nice steal and score. Look, it made it 5-1. The game was probably already in hand, but how do you not cheer for a guy like Colin Blackwell?
I guess we don't.
I guess not.
I was waiting for Luds to give him crap about going to Harvard.
No, that's this one. You and Seal are the same size. You take this one.
Yeah, Blackwell. This is one of the ones that, I give credit to Colin, but this is a horrendous play. That is not how you break out of your defensive zone right there. They are a complete mess. They're all in the same spot. The puck just completely falls off the stick. It's a good forecheck, but if you look, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep, that's on the wrong side of the puck.
That's the wrong side. That's not a good spot to be. And a great move by Blackwell. Another guy similar to Bichsel, where I say underrated skill. We've seen it. He can score goals in big moments too. He's got a lot of skill, and he puts this one right upstairs.
So Blackwell gets his 3rd goal of the year. He has only scored in Canadian arenas, 2 in Vancouver and 1 in that 7-0 demolition in Montreal. So I'm not suggesting that the Stars want to give up on Colin Blackwell, but if he's looking for another job later, maybe a Canadian market might treat him well for the goal scorer. Let's give Topo Chico a little bit of credit, though, Luds, because he made a huge save on Maverick Bourque. I thought the give and go with Wyatt Johnston was really pretty. Bourque ends up with a wide open chance, and our favorite mixer, Topo, made a really good save.
Yeah, the thing about, again, I go back to, when players are missing and giving an opportunity to some other guys get a little more ice time and playing, bigger roles and things like that. And I think Maverick has taken advantage of this whole thing. You know what I mean? And then on the other side of that is that for Gully, and I've said this many times, now Gully gets a glimpse at when somebody's injured and you put these three guys together, like 2 months ago, we put these guys together, man, they were pretty good for them 4 or 5 games. So I think that, and as long as you keep on winning like this, it's a silver lining for the coaching staff and a few players that get some confidence. Like Steel and you talk about Steel and Duchene, and you can throw Jamie in there. There's another line right there that whether it stays that way when guys are all back, but you have all these combinations now, and you can kind of go back and revisit those if you need to.
So Tolopilo, aka Topo Chico, that's more fun to say, stopped Bourque wide open. He made a great save on a Sam Steele rebound. He steals at it again. He stopped Wyatt Johnston right off a faceoff win on the Stars' second power play. And then 4-on-4 breakaway from his own blue line. He denies Nils Lundqvist. It could have been 10 if not for the Belarusian goalie tonight.
Nils was close. He just did. I'm sure you saw, Luds. He just did a little far forward on the pull to the backhand. Right, got himself a little tight. Couldn't elevate it. He had all week to think about what he was going to do there. I mean, talk about a bad turnover. That's a turnover to a defenseman 4-on-4 that led to a breakaway from nearly the top of his own circle. And maybe that's too much time to think about it, but he made a nice move. He just got a little too close to the pad, and I love the smile he had.
That's what I was going to say too. The big smile.
They were talking to him like he couldn't bear that one. You had a week to think about it.
Yeah.
Well, they got one more. Lian Bichsel.
See, there's nothing wrong with dumping those in.
No, it's not. It's a safe play.
Yeah.
Lian Bichsel scores his second of the night, an absolute snipe shot from the left dot. By the way, not only is that his first career multi-goal game of his NHL career, second multi-point game, he had 2 assists against the Sharks a year ago in February of 2025. But Bourque and Robo get the assist. That means Jason Robertson's second point of the night makes him the first Dallas Star to 70 points. Now, Rantanen was at 69 going into the break and hasn't played since. But still, Robo gets the goal. He's up to 70. Wyatt was right up in there. Stars get goals up and down the lineup. I think I saw it was 6 or 7 players had multi-point games. And look, they're not a good team, but you have to take care of business against your opponent, and the Stars did that tonight, Sam.
I see a betting line coming here, Sam. Don't you do a thing for betting thing? Will Rantanen end up as the leading point getter at the end of the year?
Ooh.
Still be number one. Well, and we don't know how long he's going to be out.
That's the big thing.
Is he 99.8% only going to be out 4 weeks? Or is it going to be longer, Gully?
I see where this is going.
I don't think he's going to be the point leader.
No?
I don't. I think it's going to be Jason Robertson.
So
that guy, and I think Robertson's going to score 50. I know you put the graphic up before. I mean, he is well on his way, and he is not slowing down at all. I think he could get there.
Rantanen with 69 points in 54 games. Robo gets to 70 in 60 games. So 6 more games, 1 more point. If Luds is, I think Luds is right. If Rantanen comes back in a couple weeks, I think he still has a shot because he's the one that pulls the strings. But if we're talking 3 or 4 weeks from now, he may not have enough runway left. And frankly, with the way the team's playing, I don't think you need to rush this at all. You want to make sure he is absolutely ready to go for the playoffs.
Agreed.
All right, fellas, great recap. By the way, Jake Ottinger did play. He made some nice saves. He gets another win. Not trying to, make much of it, but that was his 25th win of the season. And I believe the final stat line for Otter tonight was 13 saves on 14 shots. Not his busiest night. Up next, your Super Chats. Let's have some fun. Come on, it's after midnight. Let us have it here on DLLS. Now
That
it's
would have
my
been
turn.
that would have been cooler if I spun into an ad read, but it wasn't my
would be.
turn.
Oh, I actually would have laughed more if you got stuck facing the wrong direction. I would
I
have
should have
enjoyed
done
that.
my ad read.
Well, go ahead and do another spin, Sam, because I have to talk about the NHL trade deadline show before you give us diehard information. We have, as I said at the top of the postgame show,
Look at that graphic.
big time DLLS Stars trade deadline show. He's right. The graphic, Ryan is an artist. He makes everything look great. I love how we have Ritzy Ritz up there along with Ben, Lindell, and Miko. It's such an interesting mix of players for the Stars. But this Friday at 1:30 Central Time, all four of us will be on the show. Sean will be remote. We're not quite sure where Sam will be yet because we think after a morning skate, Stars and Avalanche at American Airlines Center, that's where Jim Nill is going to be, we've heard. Now, I don't know if he's going to go back to Frisco for his war room and then come back, or if he's just going to stay there, what they're going to do. And frankly, Sam, that made me wonder, do the Stars have like an executive front office spot in the AAC for Nill and they must have some workspace that they can do that's separate from like our media work area.
Yeah, gotta be. I don't know if it's that or if they're just going to use one of the suites up top in the press box or something. But they do love that war room, and it's a beautiful war room they have
That's
up in
true.
Frisco.
Jim does have his hockey ops suite off to the one side of the press box. But we'll see what happens. Either way, we will get you caught up on all the trades, whether it's before or on deadline day. It sure looks like things are headed towards a pretty entertaining last little bit. Maybe not so much of the early stuff.
Speaking of looking, Ryan, can you pull that picture up again, or that drawing or cartoon, whatever you had up there? Yeah. Does it not look like Ritzy Ritz up there is looking at me like who the hell is this guy? Who does he think he is?
He's giving you the side eye, Luds.
Yeah, I know. A little Tasmanian devil.
And S is just smiling at Sean.
He's staring down at Sean like I could step on him right now. I love it. All right, Sam, tell us about the diehards.
Yes, you should become a diehard because you get all kinds of cool stuff, like all of the articles that we do for the Stars, all the articles for all the other teams. You got I had it too and I blew it. You got the QR code right here on my left. You also get 20% off merch, 20% off events, and you get access to cool things like the Discord, which is even more important. The Discord's fun. You got the chats, you got the fun stuff during games. You guys go crazy in that Discord, but it's also where you get access to certain things, like when I or Sean does a mailbag article, when we ask for topics for a guest, when we ask for questions for a damn Discord segment. And then on top of that, when Ben posts an event, most of the time, all the time, he's going to post it first in there so that diehards get a chance to buy tickets first. And a lot of times we sell most of it out there. So a million reasons to do it. You also get it. You get a free shirt with it. You get all kinds of cool stuff. alldls.com/diehard, or scan the QR code that used to be just below my finger right here.
Thank you, Sam. I was just looking. Oh, boy. Hey, guys. According to Evan Rawal, who covers the Colorado Avalanche for the Denver Gazette,
they won.
Arturi Lehkonen will not play tomorrow in Anaheim. Jared Bednar says he's going to miss some time.
Yikes.
It's that time of year. Things are going to get ramped up.
Those fins.
Did you see the reports? It was today or yesterday that McKinnon has been dealing with something he hasn't felt right, and that Nichushkin's been playing through a wrist injury. So look, no rest for the weary. Everybody's going to be, and that's the thing. I'll be really interested to see how the Avalanche perform in the next couple of weeks with the Stars breathing down their necks of winning 9 in a row.
Yeah, they still won despite all those things.
Yeah, I thought the Kings were going to help them out a little bit. They tied it up, but then what was the final? Was it 3-2? Yeah,
it was 3-2. Yeah,
in regulation. And,
I think it was McKinnon.
Hey, Luds, before we get into the super chats, what's going on with the LA Kings?
Well,
and Ryan, you can put up that scoreboard if you'd like. Well, he talked about it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Let's see if they. I guess they didn't get the coach bump yet, but
oh yeah, Jim Hiller just got fired.
Yeah, they're done.
Did you think that was interesting that they went with DJ Smith for the interim? I mean, DJ was the head coach in Ottawa, and obviously he, came from, I believe it was a successful junior run before he started his NHL coaching. But as soon as that was announced, we all said, isn't this Pete DeBoer's next job?
No.
But he's not going there until the offseason at the earliest.
Yeah, not for me. I think that Kenny's not sure where this team is yet. And is the coach bump going to help anything? Let's find out. I think this is what you do in this particular situation. Fiala's out and Kopitar is going to retire, and now you got Panarin, and so I think there's some unanswered things going on there. So I think in this particular spot, I don't think they're going to get more than a round in anyways. I really didn't think that they were going to win that first round. So I think you can take your time on this one, and maybe Pete is still the guy, and there may even be that conversation. And we're just gonna let's just play this rest of this out and see where we're at.
Yeah, I wonder if Panarin had a 30-day return policy on his contract.
Yeah,
because that's immediately. I mean, he wanted to go somewhere and compete, right? And that's immediately he got the payday, but it's a tough look right there. It's not a team that looks like they're going deep into a playoff run.
Well, right now, all of a sudden, it looks like Seattle, who looked horrible in the first two games back from the break, including that first game against Dallas. They beat a hapless Canucks team on Saturday night, but they're in a better spot than the Kings. They might actually make the playoffs, and maybe they'll make a move over the end of the week. But look at that. The Kraken beat the Hurricanes tonight. 2 wins in a row after that sluggish post-break start. That's a big one, Luds, because you can say what you want about them demolishing the Canucks on Saturday. Beating Carolina is nothing to sneeze about.
Yeah, no, and Carolina's been good. I think they took the East over, didn't they, over Tampa by a point? But yeah, they've been moving along. They're
up 2.
They do their thing. They play the same way. You know what you get when you play that team. Stank's playing good. So I mean, again, there's no surprises when you play that team. I think there's 31 other teams that know exactly what you get when you play that club.
All right, let's go to a couple of super chats, and then we can get back to that scoreboard. I love Misty, 1985, with a Robertson and an Erne. Why am I still awake? I worked overnight, then slept for only 3 hours before going to a Rangers spring training game and getting an autograph from Corey Seager on a 2023 World Series ball. Oh, got to celebrate a Stars win.
That's a lot.
I'll tell you what, he gets his money worth.
Yeah, he does.
He gets the words in there.
And you know what, Luds? That's like Craig Ludwig's sleep pattern right there.
Yeah, that's true. There is no pattern.
There's no pattern, and it's usually not for very long.
Bing,
all right.
Been there.
Go to Luke St. Martin. There's just too easy of a joke for Stars After Dark there, Stan. He sends in a DeSmith and a 99 cup here. You guys are such goofballs. Now, just for context,
that was before that joke.
That came in during the first segment when we were getting a little loopy about Sam peeing on the carpet and getting put into crates. But you know what? It's late. We got to have a little fun with that. All right. Ryan, throw up that out-of-town scoreboard again. You guys talked about the Rangers earlier and how much of a hot mess they are. Well, they lost in overtime to the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I might add, Rick Bowness and company needed that win because they had a sluggish start of the break as well, but they get back in the win column. I'm not writing them off yet, but they have a very tough mountain to climb still to get in. Although, as you look below, Toronto Maple Leafs aren't going to get in their way.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, that Columbus game was far from perfect. They were up 4-0 in the second period of that game, so they held on pretty tight. They gave up 4 in a row and ended up winning in overtime.
Luds, I look at this last week, right? We said, I don't know how much you're going to learn in a week of games after the Olympic break, but I feel like a lot of teams that we thought were going to be in contention have suddenly started to raise white flags after only 6 or 7 days of this post-break resumption of play. And we talked about it on the show a couple of days ago. It went from, boy, this is a seller's market. Everybody's in it. They all think they're going to add, to now there's a lot of guys out there, and I don't know if there are that many bidders.
Yeah, that's the issue. I think there's only probably 5 or 6 teams that might be looking to buy. But I think
Crazy.
there's still a lot of teams that believe, there's still some belief in some of these teams that they can get it together and make a better push. And then there's the ones like Vancouver that are like, no, we're not fooling anybody here.
But it is funny. It went from, I mean, we thought there's going to be nobody to trade for. There's going to be 20 teams that are sitting there thinking, 25 teams that are sitting there thinking they're going to be in there. Now it almost feels like I think if someone was to ask me right now, are the Stars going to make a trade before the deadline day? I say no, because I think there are so many teams that are starting to go further into what Lutz is talking about. Maybe they're not Vancouver and they're like, we have no shot, but they're thinking, hey, we have really valuable pieces here. Is it worth it to do everything we can to lose in the first round and get swept, or come really close and not make it? And they're starting to say, let's start to move on and offer up some pieces. I think the Stars are going to look at it and on the day, and other teams that need to buy, and they're going to say, here's this, here's this, here's this. What will you give us for that? Okay, that's cheaper than what you'll give us. It might work really well for teams like Dallas that need to add one or two pieces.
So I want to throw a couple names at you. I completely agree, Sam. I think that this is we call it a game of chicken, right? This is who blinks first. And I think we're going to see this go down to the wire, because I'm sure Nil will have 5 or 6 irons in the fire and see what he can get for his, he doesn't have the most stocked cupboard, but probably try to see if his dollars can go and stretch him as far as he can. So I want to ask both of you this. Let's look at the teams that are not in a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference first, then we'll do the West. I'm just going to list them off real quick from highest to lower in the settings. So 2 points out, Washington Capitals, 3, Columbus, Philadelphia 4, Ottawa 5, Toronto 7. I'm not even going to bother with Panthers, Devils, and Rangers. Of any of those teams, who do you think has a legit shot to crack that wild card or get into the playoffs?
For me, it's Columbus. I mean, I wouldn't go anywhere past Columbus, to be honest with you. I think Washington, I'm thinking that Washington may do something, only because don't you want to find a way, if this is Ovechkin's last go around, I think you'd want to see him get into the playoffs, and I think you'd be willing to do something that may help him get into the playoffs. But after Columbus, I don't know what other teams got an opportunity to pull something off.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for Washington too, because they've played 3 more games than the teams above them.
That's a great point.
Them. So, I mean, I know that doesn't sound like a ton of games, but we're getting down to the point where one game in hand is going to become a big deal. Having 3 already played and only being 1 point ahead of Columbus, and I think 2 points or something below the other guys, it's going to be really hard. It starts to become really difficult to jump teams at this point of the year, because everybody just kind of starts going in the same path.
Yeah.
And before I list the Western teams in the same veil, Pittsburgh without Crosby solidifying a spot really comfortably in the division in the top 3. And how about your boy Patrick Waugh? 5 in a row. Suddenly the Islanders look like they're pretty much a shoo-in. I know it's not set in stone yet, but they look like a playoff team right now.
Well, they got an 18-year-old leading the charge.
Well, and I wanted to bring that up. He scored his 20th, Matthew Schaefer. I don't even care if he wins the scoring race by rookies. If he breaks the all-time rookie defenseman goals, which I believe he's very close to doing, isn't he a lock to win the Calder?
Calder. We talk about Celebrini being a possible Hart guy. Why isn't this guy?
That's an interesting point. We haven't really talked about it at all.
Is he considered a guy yet at 18 years old? I don't think he is. Is he? Is he still a kid? I don't know if he's a guy or what he is.
If he can vote.
That Schaefer has carried that team. Schaefer has put that team into the playoffs. And if they stay there, for what he's doing at both ends of the rink, and he's kind of one of those guys you wonder sometimes, how is he defending? Well, he's kind of like Makar. He defends with the puck, and he does crazy things, and he just has a good time out there playing the game. The fans love him, and it's exactly what that Islanders organization is needing.
All right, let's talk about the West real quick. Sam, we'll start with you. Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota look like they're going to be in some order. Dallas, believe it or not, with 2 games in hand, only 4 points behind the Avalanche. What a run. I think that will be, nope, excuse me. They added the other 2, so it's 6. That one just got updated. But I'm not sure what to make of the Pacific. You've got Vegas, Anaheim, and Seattle as the top 3. Utah and Edmonton in the wild cards, and then 4 points out, San Jose and Nashville. San Jose with a couple games in hand.
Yep.
LA with 60 as well as Nashville. And then you've got teams that look like sellers: Winnipeg, Calgary, Chicago, St. Louis, and Vancouver. Of those, I guess of those three, Sharks, Preds, and Kings, which one has a shot at making the playoffs?
It's San Jose for me. I don't have any faith in Nashville, LA, or any teams below that. I think they're only going the other direction. Nashville, I know, has had a little bit of a bow up here, but they just allow so many goals. They just don't look good consistently enough that I think they're going to jump these teams. Even San Jose, if I'm going to pick, I'd pick this to be the playoff picture right here without San Jose jumping them. But if I'm going to be rooting for something, and I know Stars fans at midnight or whatever time it is will love this, I would love to see San Jose jump into that wild card spot and the Edmonton Oilers miss the playoffs. I think that would be fantastic.
Lutz, what about you?
What happens if Edmonton gets Bobrovsky? What does that do?
I was told by a Stars staff member / player that it doesn't matter who they get. They need to fix problems elsewhere. Their goalie is not the issue anymore. That's what I was told.
He's not. Their goalies aren't the solution. I can tell you.
They're not the solution, but they said that they can play with any goalie right now, and they probably wouldn't get past their issues. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, well, that's what Tristan Jarry said. Is he got a little bit of the experience of being the Oilers netminder and realizing he's not getting a whole lot of help in front of him right now. So, okay, Stars play the Calgary Flames tomorrow night. We have a 7:30 pregame show. The game will start just past 8:00. Look, as we talked about in the pregame show, Flames are not a good team, but they are better than the Canucks by a most of the league is better than the Canucks. Lud's quick thoughts on Stars Flames tomorrow night. I would imagine you'll see Casey DeSmith, maybe Rope Hintz ? Or a couple other healthy, fresh spot guys in the lineup.
I think for Dallas it'll be more of the same. I don't expect a difference there. I think you'll see people like Coleman and Kadri. I think you're going to see their best games because they're kind of getting juggled in the air there. And I know we know one for sure.
Auditioning
that would be like be jumping on that plane and coming back to Dallas. So no, I think you're going to have some individual efforts from Calgary, but besides that, it's going to be obviously it's going to be a tougher game. I mean, we could probably put our U18 team out there, and it may be a tougher game than what they had tonight. Anyway, so I'm done beating them up.
I love that. I know we say it's not even fun, and yet we're still having fun. Sam, do you think there'll be any rotation of players tomorrow? I mean, they didn't change anything from Saturday to Monday.
I don't think they should. I mean, to be honest, you could always say put in one of the extra defensemen. It's not going to hurt you to put Petrovic in over Lyubushkin or something like that. But as Lud said, this was not the most taxing game in the world, and they're playing really good hockey. I would keep it exactly the same unless Rope is able to play. And even then, maybe just let him sit. Like they say, don't rush everybody. Why rush a guy who's sick when your team is playing really connected hockey? But I will say, if there is a Mavs game tomorrow, boys, remember to bring a sweatshirt. It gets a little chilly.
Oh yes, that conference room is a little bit. There's Bloods. Don't forget, bring an extra layer. Right, we'll set up our usual spot in the conference room. Our secondary viewing location in the studio. He has no idea what we're talking about.
Oh, Lud says
there he does.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
All right. Big thank you to Ryan Vaughters, our producer, as always, for getting us through this and helping us not be super goofy, although it's Sam's fault. When he talks about climbing into a dog crate, I'm laughing. But for Craig Ludwig, Sam Nestler, I'm Owen Newkirk, and all of you in the chat, we had a great time. And for that guy, the gnome with the handlebars, and maybe a Yoshi, I don't even have anything fun, guys. I'm just going to sit here and say, we'll see you tomorrow night, 7:30, Stars and Flames. And can you get Tyler Myers and Blake Coleman both in the same stick bag and bring him back to Dallas? Well, there's one finger that says maybe here on DLLS. Yes.